Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a drama horror film, Dorm. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with Tun, a kid narrating his last time in his neighborhood. He prepares all his personal belongings and a picture of his friend. As he is separated from his friends, it's revealed that his family is taking him to a boarding school. The family drives there, and they soon arrive at the boarding school. Then Tun's parents meet with its caretaker, Ms. Pranny. After the parents discuss his enrollment in the school, they say their goodbyes to him. However, it seems that Tun isn't fond of his father when he says goodbye. After they leave, Ms. Pranny tours him around the school and leads him to his bed. There he unpacks all his belongings, and while doing so, Tun feels sadness and anger, especially toward his father for some unknown reason. Tun's first day at the boarding school begins the following day, and he immediately gets some of the students' attention. This makes Tun feel alone in school, as he has a tough time making friends. During his stay, Tun notices some kids taking an interest in him. After his first class in the evening, one of the kids approaches him and brings him to a circle of kids who welcomes Tun. The leader calls himself Boy Gossip, while he introduces the other kids in the group. After the introductions, they ask Tun if he is scared of ghosts. He says he isn't, so they tell him about this school's horrible history. According to their seniors, one of the chefs in the school had a beautiful daughter, and she was the crush of the entire school. But then one day, she committed suicide by hanging herself, and nobody knew why. And so, the police commenced an autopsy. Later on, they discovered that the girl had been pregnant for 4 months. After her suicide, the school thinks she became a pregnant ghost, which is said to be the nastiest kind of ghost. One day, a group of senior schoolboys decided to see if the woman had become a ghost. They went to the Bodhi tree where she hung herself, and to their horror, they found her there still hanging. After finding the hanging body, the ghost suddenly opens its eyes and scares the smelly boys away. This intrigues Tun, making him want to see it, but the student stops him from going to the tree, since the others still have horror stories to tell. The others then share their own horror story, such as the old man wandering the dorm, who was the former supervisor, and another story where dogs howl in unison in the bathroom and peeing at night makes people feel like they're not alone. Boy Gossip then tells the final story about a kid who drowned himself in the pool. Ms. Pranny was the one who saw that drowned kid, and she'd almost lost her mind due to the shock. The others tell him there's a rumor that Ms. Pranny has something to do with the kid's death, seeing that she cries while staring at her office drawer. Boy Gossip believes the rumor, but before he can tell them his guess, Ms. Pranny arrives and tells them to go back to sleep or she'll punish them. As they head back to sleep, Tun suddenly feels like peeing, so he goes to the bathroom. There he feels like he's not alone, and his feeling is proven right when the dogs start howling in unison. Just then, Tun sees a shadow of a hand reaching for him, scaring the shit out of him, so he runs back to bed to sleep. However, the following day, the fear gets to him, and he wets his bed. This makes the other boys in his dorm make fun of him, even Boy Gossip and his group. After a while, as Tun plays alone, he meets another student named Vic, who teaches him the ropes around the dorm. Just then, Ms. Pranny calls Tun to tell him that his dad has called him multiple times. However, Tun doesn't like his dad and refuses to talk. At night, the urge to pee disturbs Tun's sleep, and even though he's still scared from his experience last night, he still goes to the bathroom to avoid wetting his bed and being bullied. While in the stall, Tun's fear comes true, as something locks him inside. He tries to call for help, but the other boys can't hear him. As Tun cries, seeing no one come to help, the door suddenly unlocks, so he hurriedly runs back to his bed. The next day, Tun notices that he's the only one in the bedroom. Seeing that he's late, he runs to bathe to prepare for his classes. However, he hears the sound of music coming from Ms. Pranny's office. He remembers the rumor that Ms. Pranny plays music when looking at the drawer. Tun then goes to the office to confirm the rumor, and to his surprise, the rumor is true. Right then, Ms. Pranny hears the noises from outside her office, so she checks it, and luckily for Tun, she does not see him. After that, Tun goes to the bathroom to take a bath, and he meets Vic there. Tun opens up about Ms. Pranny's rumor, and Vic seems to know something about it. Tun then asks about what he knows, but Vic doesn't tell him. Despite that, they become close friends and hang out more. While in class, Ms. Pranny announces a rule of not telling ghost stories to scare each other. After class, Tun and Vic play around with keys to get their eggs. Their fun time gets interrupted when Ms. Pranny shows up and informs Tun that his dad is on the phone. But Tun still refuses to talk to him and hangs up before they can speak. Later that night, the student in that group asks Tun to save them seats for a movie night at the schoolyard. There they watch a movie about ghosts and magic, and all the students follow the characters' actions. Then in the scene where they run away from a hopping zombie, the characters hold their breath to hide their smell so the zombie can't sense them, and the students follow suit. as they hold their breath. It's revealed that Vic is the same as the zombie, as he can't see the rest of the students who hold their breath. Tun notices his reaction and starts getting scared by that. After the movie, Tun avoids Vic the rest of the night after learning that Vic is really a ghost. He also tells Boy Gossip's group, but they don't believe him except for Boy Creepy, who thinks Vic is the kid who drowned in the past. As they all go to sleep, Tun prays not to see Vic, while Vic feels sad that he's alone again as a ghost, since Tun wants to avoid him. During that time, Ms. Praying cries again while staring at her drawer. The next day, Tunbei is alone after being left behind again. He tries to finish cleaning himself as quickly as he can, but then someone grabs him into the tub. Tun panics, and then he sees that it is Vic who grabbed him, thinking that Vic wants them to drown together. Luckily, he snaps back to reality and realizes that it's just a nightmare. He gets distracted the following day, as he keeps being wary of Vic. After thinking about it, he tries to befriend Vic, regardless of him being a ghost. This is because Tun notices that Vic seems lonely. And then, they get close again, but the others soon discover Tun speaking with air when he's with Vic. They think he's becoming crazy and try to avoid him. After classes, Tun gets a call from Ms. Pranny, telling him that he'll be staying the weekend, as his father can't pick him up. He gets sad about this, but looks on the bright side that he's at least with Vic. As the weekend arrives, Boy Creepy leaves, but asks Tun to teach him how to see ghosts. However, he doesn't know, and soon after, Boy Creepy's dad arrives and picks him up. Later that night, Vic and Tun meet a girl, the school cook's daughter. Tun immediately develops a crush on her. Seeing that Tun is growing up, Vic hands him his secret treasure of a magazine on how to be a man. Tun then gets to it and reads the magazine, but Ms. Pranny catches him reading it. The next day, she scolds him for reading the magazine, but doesn't punish him. The kids that are waiting at her office then ask him about it, but cannot believe he isn't punished. After that, Tun and Vic sneak out of school and head to the girls' boarding school after hearing they have a festival. There they enjoy their time and meet the cook's daughter. However, Vic gets sad as he realizes he is a ghost when they take a picture. At sunset, Vic and Tun go home, but Vic suddenly vanishes as they're heading back. As Tun sneaks back alone to his school, he gets wounded. He then recalls why he doesn't like his father, because his father is having an affair one night at their home. And Tun believes that his dad put him in the boarding school just to keep his infidelity a secret. His bad memory comes back, but he forgets it since he's late for lunch. Ms. Pranning then sees him arrive late with wounds and beats him for being too reckless. After that, he goes to clean himself from the dirt, and while doing so, Vic suddenly shows up. The two argue as Vic leaves him without saying a word, so Vic explains himself. Vic then reveals he's jealous that Tun now feels less invisible, while he's still stuck being a ghost. Tun pities him after hearing his confession, so he tries to find a way to help him out. While doing so, he realizes that he can see Vic because he's sleeping in Vic's bed. As he realizes Vic is suffering from being a ghost, Tun asks Boy Creepy how to make Vic pass on to the afterlife. Boy Creepy tells him to bring himself near death so that he can become a ghost. This helps save Vic from repeating his death by drowning as a ghost. He then makes plans to bring himself to near death in order to help the poor Vic. Before that, he asks Vic why he killed himself. It's then revealed that his death isn't suicide, but because of an accident. While Vic plays with his friend in the pool, one of them pretends that they're drowning. The others, including Vic, are quickly worried about this, but their friend reveals that it's just a prank to scare them. As they prepare to leave, Vic suddenly gets cramps, making it too difficult for him to swim properly. The others think it's also a prank, even to the part where he sinks, so they leave him behind. Tun then asks about Ms. Pranny's involvement in his death. Vic explains that Ms. Pranny discovered that his dad was a corrupt cop from a newspaper, so she wanted to hide the truth from Vic. However, when she heard about Vic's death, she thought that Vic discovered the truth about his dad from the newspaper that she should have hidden, which caused him to commit suicide. Tun feels terrible for him, but promises to help him pass on to the afterlife. Tun then goes to the lab room in the school and inhales a chemical. This brings him to near death, and his spirit goes to the pool to save Vic. Boy Creepy and the others find him, as they're worried about his strange behavior. As they spot him near death, Boy Creepy realizes it's for Vic's sake, so he tells the others to bring his body to the pool so that Tun's spirit can come back easier. Meanwhile, Ms. Pranny realizes that Tun and the others are missing, so she looks for them to punish them. After looking around the school, she recalls Tun's wounds and thinks they are signs of self-harm. Fearing another suicide, she runs around the school again to find Tun. At the pool, Tun's spirit is now saving Vic's spirit from drowning. While saving Vic, Tun sees his memories and discovers that Vic was the presence in the bathroom and the one who locked Tun in the stall before. As he saves Vic from drowning, they suddenly get transported to a long road. Tun and Vic realize that it's the road to the afterlife, and Vic thanks him for helping. After saying their farewells, Tun goes back to his body. Ms. Pranny arrives soon after and is relieved to see Tun alive. After that incident, Tun and the other kids wait for their parents as their final day at the school arrives. As Tun's parents come to pick him up, he realizes that his dad must have regretted his actions and decides to forgive him. After making up with his family before leaving, Tun also tells Ms. Pranny that Vic wanted to apologize for the misunderstanding. Tun then explains that he didn't kill himself, and that Ms. Pranny shouldn't be guilty of that. After showing her Tun's newspaper, she realizes he's telling the truth and finally finds peace. The film ends with Tun going home and looking at the picture of the girl he met while thinking that Vic will always be in his memory as a good friend. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.